So I'm with Neil Rogers, head of competitions and events at Table Tennis England, to talk a bit about what goes into staging the Mark Bates Limited National Championships every year. So Neil, I guess go back to the very start. When does planning begin for the senior nationals?
Planning starts straight away in reality. We take a number of notes and feedback from the event itself. We also do a very detailed feedback exercise. We'll be sending out consultations to all the different stakeholder groups. So players, coaches, spectators, trade exhibitors, technical officials, guests, and so on. And that goes into a very thorough wash up process. That's a 12-point process. We pull in feedback from the venue, from the sponsors, from the technical officials and so on. And we'll come out of that with some very firm recommendations for the following year.
Give
Sorry.
us some examples of that. Actually, what have we heard from the people we've asked for feedback, and what have we been able to put into action?
Well, the feedback is obviously critical. We want to know what people on the ground, people actually participating and spectating the event, find important and want us to improve upon. One of the key areas of feedback we often get is around the catering. This year, we're trying to supplement the on-site facilities with a secondary facility in the fan zone for coffee and sandwiches. We're supplementing that further with food trucks outside. So that's one key area we've tried to take feedback from. We're also trying to improve upon the general atmosphere, again, in relation to feedback we got through those consultation questionnaires. So we'll be looking to improve the lighting. We'll have an announcer on Sunday during finals day. And all of that is in direct response to the comments that we receive to try and make sure that we're providing what the table tennis community think is most important.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got all the feedback. We've looked at the recommendations. So when does the actual planning process then firmly begin?
It kicks in most firmly about 6 months out. So that's the point that as a an operations team, we start to meet regularly to move forward the various functional strands, make sure that we're planning and preparing and putting everything in place. Clearly, that gets busier and busier as we move towards the event. We get more people come on board in terms of supporting that process. So individuals from within the Table Tennis England staff that will lead the sports presentation area, the volunteering area, the fan zone area. We pull in the expertise, obviously, of the referee. The ITTF will be delivering the in-venue result system and the various contractors and suppliers that provide us with lighting and flooring and equipment and so
You must feel like you're spinning a lot of plates at any given time.
on. Yes, and of course, it's not just that we're working towards the one event in the same time frame. We're delivering the other age group national championships. We have the national cups coming up. We've just had the two European qualifiers back to back at K2. So the team's always working on a number of events concurrently.
Yeah. What's so special about the senior nationals though? Because a lot more goes into the planning of that, as you would expect, than any of the other events you mentioned. So why do that? Why really sort of push the boat out?
Yeah, I'd say by several orders of magnitude, it's the event that we put the most effort and the most resource into. It is, of course, the pinnacle of our domestic competition program. We have a series of events that we support throughout the year, but this is the big one. This is the one where we will have, top 32 men's players, top 32 women's players, Liam, Paul, Sam, Tom, Tintin, all competing alongside the para athletes as well. So the likes of Ross Wilson, Jack Hunter Spivey, Commonwealth champions, Fizz Pickard, world champion, will all be competing at this event, and that's what makes it really stand out in the calendar. It's the one that we want to put our absolute best into.
That putting your best into it for the athletes, for the spectators. I mean, all of them.
But absolutely, yeah, yeah. On both fronts, on all fronts. We want it to be the best experience for the players and for the coaches. So it is the event where we have the full ITTF style player walkouts, where we have assistant umpires supporting the umpires, where we have a fully functioning call area with racket testing, and where we use the ITTF standard touchpad scoring and the ITTF's scoring and display system. So we do try to provide the best environment and the best experiential opportunity for the participants, but also for the spectators. It's one of the few key spectator events that we put on. We do sell tickets for this. We do expect to have a sellout on the Sunday, and we want to provide a good show, as well as the best table tennis.
Yeah, and the David Ross Sports Village has become the home for
Yeah.
several years now. I think 2017 was the first one. There a break while we were at the Copper Box for the Team World Cup, but we've been back at Nottingham from 2019 onwards. What makes it such a good venue?
Well, there are a couple of things. I mean, firstly, there's the synergy with the talent and performance programs. The Table Tennis England talent performance programs are based out of Nottingham University, and collaboratively we employ some of the coaching staff that support the talent and performance programs. So there is an existing partnership there with the University of Nottingham that's very important to us. Um, but as a facility, it's probably the best of its kind in the country. It's 4 standard sports halls, and that's a rare configuration to be able to access. And we do need to use all of that space to be able to deliver this event. And of course, it's a new high quality facility. We have an existing relationship there that we build on year upon year. And so it really just ticks the boxes. Geographically, it's very good for us as well. Having a Midlands-based venue means that it's accessible for all of the table tennis community as well as the participants.
Yeah. Okay. So, how have we seen the Nationals develop and evolve over your tenure, and what's changed? And that's not to say that it wasn't evolving before that, but obviously you weren't around to experience that. So, what changes have you seen?
Um, I think it's fair to say that we very specifically look to have continuous improvement year on year. We want each event to surpass the last one, so we are actively looking to improve and to push areas where we can. Um, I think the the general layout of the arena, whether that's the branding and the wraparound that we're able to provide, has improved. I think that the physical space, the provision of the tunnel and the podium has gotten better. Certainly, the introduction of the ITTF scoring system, I think, was a significant step forward to providing the same experience environment that the players would have if they went to a WTT or an ITTF circuit event. Um, and being able to build year on year on that relationship with the University of Nottingham means that we can use the previous event as a platform and push on each time. So I'm very much hoping that participants and spectators to this year's event will see more improvements. We'll see a better environment, a higher quality environment. In particular, we're trying to do more on the Sunday around the music, the announcing, the lighting, to push that spectator and player experience.
Let's talk about a few more of the team members. That it's a big team, so let's outline between us the how many people are involved in each particular area.
Wow. Okay. So the competition and events team it is actually quite a small team. So the key bodies is quite a small team. There's 4.2 members of staff that support the program, but that's obviously supplemented by a breadth of expertise from within the association and from without. So we have a number of technical officials, of course, the referee, assistant referee, all of the umpires and assistant umpires and twiddlers that are instrumental. The marketing and comms department, nod to you, Paul, is obviously a key component of that, supporting the broadcast production, the streaming, and supporting the commentating, the announcing,
And
the
actually, just
various.
to sorry to interrupt, but just
No
to
worries.
say that there's a team within the team there. Of course, we have 1080 Media, our partners, who come in to actually deliver the broadcast, and to a very high standard, particularly on the Sunday with multiple camera angles and replays and so on. So there's a team, probably, if you include the commentators, you're looking at sort of a dozen or thereabouts people just in that one area. So
Absolutely, absolutely. There are individuals that take on an event-specific role, in addition to their daytime table tennis England role. So we will have leads that step into the accreditation reception areas. We will that support the fan zone, support the volunteering strand, and we probably have 30 or 40 volunteers over the course of the weekend as well. And then, as you mentioned, we have a number of partners, suppliers, contractors that are all instrumental to this, whether it's providing the seating, the flooring, carpeting, the table and other equipment, the lighting, the PA, the venue dressing, the branding, the sports presentation, all of these things that are probably and ideally not necessarily seen by the players or by the spectators, but are of course instrumental to making sure the event works as it should. And I'll include in that medical, drugs testing, all of the stuff that definitely should stay hidden.
and a major event like this, UK anti-doping are well within their rights to just arrive unannounced. So that has to be covered off as well, and space for them to work in, personnel to support them. Um, we, we
Absolutely.
we've forgotten a few mascots, ball collectors,
Mascots, ball boys and ball girls,
and of
uh,
course we're lucky this year.
presentation parties,
Yeah,
with the
absolutely.
trophies and the medals.
Yes, yes, handing over the medals very important. We're lucky this year that Andy Ashworth, who is the voice from the gods at the Commonwealth Games and numerous other table tennis events, is also joining us on the Sunday. So there's an awful lot of people that go into making it a success. Apart from a drink at the end, what are you most looking forward to?
um, all of these events and in similar circumstance, if it's supporting a team on an event, the bit I most look forward to is when we either see the last athlete on a plane or we put the last bit of equipment in the van and close the door and go, it all went okay. There weren't any major issues. There weren't any major incidents. It went as it should. We have national champions in our 9 categories, and everyone had a good time. That's the hope. And then, as you said, yes, it's a beer and a pizza.
And a bit like painting the fourth bridge, as we said at the start, it immediately begins again
It really
after the
does.
beer and the
Yes.
pizza.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, I'm sure it's going to be another great event, and the athletes and the spectators in particular, and the officials, of course, they're the kind of the three groups for whom the experience is the most important. So I'm sure that they will enjoy their time in Nottingham, and as you say, we'll within not too many days now, we'll have some national champions crowned and celebrate that.
Absolutely. Yeah, very much looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, thanks very much, Neil, and good luck with the rest of the preparations.
Thank you, Paul.